Can you believe that it is March 1st already? I am just stunned that we are already all the way through February. Next week, I will be reviewing what happened in February after all of the final numbers are in, and I can run good and accurate reports. But this week, I want to talk about interest rates, which have the Mortgage Bankers Association is saying they are typically seeing right now, good morning, Kim, quoting over 4% right now for conventional rates. So Kim, please feel free to chime in if that's accurate or not. But that's what the Mortgage Banker Association is saying. Most lenders are quoting rates over 4%. So still an awesome rate. When I bought my first home, we thought that we were killing it, my husband and I, because we locked in at an 8.875 and we were under 9%, and we just thought that that was amazing. So of course that was a long time ago, maybe 20 years, but still, folks, 4% is a really great rate. We haven't, nothing really spectacular happening in the marketplace right now. Things are pretty normal as they've been the last couple of weeks. Low inventory. I think we have 33 pending sales right now in Seneca County. So that's been, really in line with what we've seen, the last several months. So want to talk a little bit about property disclosures. I met with a seller last week, and we started to talk about what do you need to disclose in the home when you are going to sell it? And so buyers, just kind of stay tuned as well. Kevin, good morning. And just to hear what you're going to have knowledge of, hopefully, if the seller is and should be honest when filling out this residential property form, disclosure form that the state requires that they complete prior to the sale of a property. There are certain exemptions to filling this form out, but I'm not going to go into that. However, if they have knowledge of this property, then, or what's happened in this property, they're still obligated to disclose, even if they don't fill this form out. So a couple different things that always shock sellers when we go over these disclosures. You do need to, according to Ohio disclosure law, that you have to disclose things, obviously, that you know about in regards to the property. And some of those things include, and this always gets a shock, paranormal activity. So do you know, or have you felt that there is a ghost in the home? Do you feel that there's paranormal activity in the property? If you do, then you absolutely do need to disclose that to any potential buyer. Good morning, Scott. Emotional defects. So depending on your location, you may be required to disclose, some sort of emotional defects. Like if a murder or a suicide has taken place in the property that you own, that needs to be disclosed to any potential buyer. Pests, rats, mice, bats. If you're aware that you have a bat problem, that needs to be disclosed to the next buyer. Property drainage issues, maybe your basement has flooded, maybe the backyard has flooded. I can promise you that if you choose not to disclose that type of information to your next buyer, that as soon as that buyer moves in, the neighbor is going to come over and tell them everything about your house that you did not share with these buyers, and now you have a potential lawsuit on your hands. So please know that if your basement gets water, trickles of water, floods, you've got to disclose that. Neighbor issues or boundary disputes. If you have a dispute with your neighbor on where the property line is and no official survey's been done, or maybe one has been done and you're still arguing over it, that also needs to be disclosed to a potential buyer. Another one that always kind of gets a raise of an eyebrow is a known sex offender. If you have knowledge, it's called Megan's Law, if you have knowledge that there is a registered sex offender in your neighborhood, you've received a postcard from the sheriff's department, it is your obligation to disclose that to any potential buyer. And it is also the duty of the buyer to do their own research and due diligence in that regard. Actually, in all of these areas, it's still a great idea, obviously, to have an inspection, because once that property transfers over to your name, any and all the issues are now going to be your problem. So if you have knowledge that there's a registered sex offender in the area, that has to be disclosed. And you can go on the sheriff's department and look that up too, buyers, if you're concerned. So any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We always have different scenarios that come up throughout the week that I think, oh, I need to remember to share this with my group here on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So just wanted to kind of go over a few of the disclosure issues that we've seen here as of late and things. And one last one, floodplain issues. If you know you're in a flood zone, gotta disclose it. So there's a million more, but just a summary. Okay, thanks guys. Have a really great day. Thanks for joining me. Good morning, Jason, and I'll see you next Tuesday.